So about Steve upstairs, yeah, my whole life was completely in order. Absolutely, it was very minimal. Got three best mates I'd known for 20 years, more, 30 years, four best mates maybe. And in comes a guy upstairs. I mean, I didn't think much at first. He was upstairs and they were talking all night. I thought, fucking hell, can't believe this. You know, I mean, they just didn't stop. Didn't realise he was on coke. That's how they was powered by coke, all of this, and LSD. But what happened, I didn't realise at the time, he was lifting the floorboards up. And then when I recorded him on a red light, then he went absolutely berserk. I mean, next level berserk. Scariest guy you've ever met. Downstairs was aware of it. The guy across was aware of it. This went on and he stalked me for 6 months. And he vowed he would not let me sleep. During that time, well, he'd become very vulnerable. It was an unbelievable psychological nightmare. He was awake all night. They were watching me, taking photos of me sleeping, going on about my expression, got all sorts of stuff. It was an absolute nightmare. I couldn't do anything. And then eventually, after a couple of months, I couldn't take it anymore. And to hide my passwords, I built a tent around my computer just to hide him looking down. I even put bin bags all over the ceiling at one stage to stop him looking in. But he was, it was an absolute nightmare. It was the worst psychological horror that you could ever imagine. And so Steve left me in an absolutely diabolical state after 6 months. And when the police arrived, I had to report him 3 times. He'd actually raped his wife one time. He raped her, I think, a couple of times, 3 times or something, within half an hour or something. I kept distracting him. And he was beating her and slapping her. And I called the police. I called the police 3 times. I didn't want to bother him too much. That was a nightmare because this guy was living with the couple with a child. They were just like upstairs, and even when the couple and the child went to India, because we were Indian, they were upstairs just moving around quietly. And as I say, he was stalking me constantly. And eventually I tuned into his voice, and I could hear him coming from a long way away. I could tune into him, and that was the start of me becoming more and more sensitive, that when you're hunted, you become aware of your hunter. And that's how I'm aware of the conversations, which are downloadable below. And I made a statement outlining the horror that I went through, and that was a time when I wasn't on drugs or anything else. This actually happened to me. I'm very contextually aware, super, super aware. I don't hallucinate, there's nothing like that. I'll have a look at the statement and you'll see exactly what I went through. An absolute nightmare. And it's took me 4.5 years to try and rebuild my life. And I went out with a girl called Trudy, who ended up dying halfly because of this situation. She was screaming in the bathroom and ended up with her artery burst in the chest, and I tried to save her and I couldn't. And that was my partner. What I went through is hell. 2 best mates died in the same week. I've lost everything. Even my mate, Steve, the guy upstairs, set up my best friend who allowed me to sleep once a week. And he'd allow me to have, sleep in his house just so I could get one night's decent sleep, just to reset. But anyway, I heard the plan to go into his house and plant a camera. Could hear it through the ceiling because the floorboards were up. And one Sunday afternoon, Steve disappeared out. And because my mate Steve was on holiday, and basically he nicked his prescription drugs, of which his flatmates upstairs, they were telling him off for 3 days. And I think they were watching Steve on the phone because we were saying how he was going downhill. My mate Steve needs his prescription drugs, otherwise he can't cope after a day or two. And eventually he went into hospital for 3 months. So my best mate went into hospital for 3 months because Steve upstairs nicked his prescription drugs. And then the irony was, because Steve he only trusted people close to go in his house, he blamed me for nicking his prescription drugs. And so I lost my friend for over 20 years that I had such a laugh with, who trusted me implicitly. It's damaged him for life. I mean, I've been trying to hoping this would mend itself, and with that. But now I realise the context of the situation, that this whole thing is just a setup from Starmer. And I lost one of my best mates. And not only that, all my friendships have been affected by this. Either if you tell somebody the situation, they don't want to be close to me, or they just think that it's a bit far-fetched and this wouldn't really happen. But it does.